Hey, what's up everyone? It is Tuesday, May 13th, and I am continuing to work on finishing my 9x12. Everything is pretty much done. I am just waiting on one last advertiser to finalize his design work. I've been going back and forth with this guy for probably about a week and a half. We keep missing each other. He says, okay, call it this time. I call, he's busy with something else, and then says, okay, I'll call you back in 20 minutes. Then he calls me, but I'm in the middle of something with my kid, so I can't answer him at that time. So we've been going back and forth. But during that time, I've been working on the rest of the designs, kind of fleshing out the rest of the card. There's a number of spots that I wasn't able to sell. So I started just like kind of filling in the spaces with other things. So I have to do the math to see exactly how much I sold. I probably sold like 70% of the card spaces out. But I used like the top left corner on the back side to do like a community kind of directory and events. So I put like phone numbers for local schools and for the parks department, and then like kind of like their weekly activities. They have like weekly yoga and other things in the parks and stuff for Palmetto Bay. So I use like a double spot up in that corner to put for them. I have one spot that's going to be a giveaway for either Chick-fil-A or Publix, which is our grocery store down here. And then I have one of the spaces on the front side, single space for my review cards, which are these here, which are like really cool. They tie into your Google profile. You just like tap it on your phone, and then it brings up automatically either the Google review page where it just like hit the stars and leave a review, or you can go to like a thumbs up and thumbs down kind of review gate, so to speak, where they can, if they give a thumbs down, they're invited to leave a review still if they want to, or they could just like send the feedback to the business directly if they want to do that. Most people opt to just go straight to the review stars, because if they're in person with somebody and they're having them tap the phone, then they usually are pretty sure that they're having a positive experience to leave a good review. But this is good also like for restaurants and stuff where you're not sure. You can have that kind of thumbs up, thumbs down to pick up that feedback before they leave a review if they may have not had the best experience during their stay there. So I use one of the spots to promote these cards. So we'll see how that works out. I used a spot for these last time, but when I saw it printed, it looked very busy and there was like a lot going on the ad. So I simplified it down a lot, made it a really good offer on there. So we'll see if that works for that one. And then I think that fills up about all the spaces that I had on the card that I wasn't able to sell. There was one small space above the gift card giveaway that I was just kind of holding on to see if I got a restaurant or something that wanted to take that. I never heard back from any of the restaurants that I was reaching out to give them a space for a good coupon. So I just kind of had that space. I was going to make a little mini directory of restaurants, like new restaurants in the area or whatever. But one of the advertisers finally kind of got back to me, the mobile IV company that was working on their branding, working on all their brochures, all that kind of stuff. I follow them on Instagram, so I saw they just like finished wrapping like a big van for their stuff, for their logo and their like kind of pitch and everything. So I could see they indeed were working consistently on getting their brand kind of set up exactly how they want it. So they got back to me yesterday morning asking, hey, did you already print that thing from Palmetto Bay? I said, I'm still waiting on another advertiser. So I do have like a small spot or like a medium spot if I shift some other things around. I said, okay, what's the pricing on that? I give them the pricing, then I didn't hear back from them at all the whole rest of the day. So like at 5 o'clock, I was like, hey, I'm really up against the deadline here. I'm just waiting on this one last advertiser to get his design. But I need to know, do you want the spot or are you going to wait for the next one? And he said, no, I definitely want it. Let's do the small. And so he gave me like kind of the guidelines of what he wanted on there. We went back and forth a bunch of times through the different designs that I put together and got all finished to his liking, gave me the thumbs up. I sent him the invoice, and so we're good to go. I discounted that last space a little bit. Basically, I'm ending up discounting a lot of these spots back to my original pricing from last year, but it's better than where I was last year because I had those prices and then I discounted from there. So this time I had my pricing set at $600 for a medium, $1,000 for a large, and $350 for a small. And I went down to $275 for the small for this guy. A lot of the advertisers I went down to like $500 or $550 for the medium, and then the large, depending on my past relationships with people, I usually gave them the pricing from the last one if they're a repeat advertiser, which 2 of the big spots were, actually 3, because my family's fish farm's on there and they're a repeat advertiser. And the new mortgage guy, I gave him like friends and family discounts since I knew him from school. So they pretty much all got in at like $900 to $950. So, but that having that higher price to start with, I like having it there as kind of an anchor. So that way, if I do need to discount, I'm not kind of cutting myself short and cutting into the profit margin too much. But at the same time, I feel like there is a bit of sticker shock when doing cold outreach to people that first see $600 that would maybe say yes at like $4.99. So I'm playing around with that in my mind. I might do like the $4.99 one-time payment, or if you want to, spread out the payments over time, then it comes out to $600. So that's going to be for the next card to decipher and figure out exactly how I want to display the prices. Even though most people probably don't even go to the website at all, they just kind of go by messages and text or calling or whatever. So that's where I'm at with that. I still have the one last guy, the pawn shop guy, that said he wanted the biggest space. He wants to do his promo. So he got back to me last week with notes on my design, and I was on vacation the past week. Me and my family went to Great Wolf Lodge over in Naples, Florida. Had a great time for a week, Tuesday to Friday. But during that time, I was still like messaging back and forth with a couple of these businesses, trying to get the ads finished off. And so this one guy, he gave me back his notes. I put the notes together. I put it on there, and he just keeps saying like, okay, cool, give me a call. I'm like, you already messaged me like your notes on what you wanted the card to look like, how you wanted it to look like. You haven't said any other notes. You just say, give me a call. So I don't know if he wants to like pay by phone or something else, but I told him last night, like, hey, I just finished the design for the last spots. You're the last one left, man. Can we get this done so I can get it printed tomorrow? And so he said, all right, give me a call first thing in the morning. So right now it's 7:45. I asked him, like, 1, what's the best number to reach you on? And 2, is 8 a.m. fine? And I didn't hear back from him from that. So very frustrating to say the least, to just like kind of get close, and then something not happen. But I'm working through it because it's a double spot. So I think I have them priced at $950 or 2 payments of $475. And so I'm just waiting to see, all right, how much am I going to invoice this guy? When's he going to pay it? But either way, it's definitely a learning process. One of the people on my last video made the comment like, hey, we all know that you should be like sending the invoice and collecting payment. Like as soon as they give a yes, do that. And I agree, that is definitely the right thing to do. If you know exactly that you are serious about doing this and completing this card for yourself, get those payments in as they are, because 1, it'll commit them, and 2, it'll commit you. Last year when I did this, I wasn't confident that I was going to fill it. That's why it took me like 6 months, because I was kind of wishy-washy the whole time. But once I started collecting those payments, I really had my feet to the fire to finish it all and get what was promised to the advertisers to get the card out there. So I'm definitely going to be incorporating that into the future. If you say yes, then I send the invoice right away. Then we work out the design and all that kind of stuff afterwards, because I'll be more confident. I will have had 2 cards out. I'll have more experience getting through the process, how long it takes to fill the cards. Now I know it's been about 6 weeks. Really, I had it almost all sold out in that first month. It was just these last 2 advertisers. They could have been 2 double spots. Now it went down to 1 double and then like a small. But at least they still did come through, as long as this pawn shop guy does. So in the next 10 minutes or so, it'll be 8 o'clock. I'm going to give him a call, whatever numbers I have for him, and see if he answers and go from there. So that is where I am at in the process. I'm hoping to get this last design finished. And then next thing I got to do is using LinkTrack, my QR code and link tracker software. I need to go through and get all the QR codes set up on LinkTrack, so that way I can have them set up so I can do the tracking. One thing I want to do is I'm going to have 2 slightly different versions of the card. One's going to be like a dark blue background, another is going to be like maybe a dark green background. And I'm going to, on those different versions, the dark blue is going to go to like the highest income ranges. So that'll be like batch 1 from RouteSnip Pro. And then I'll have the dark green ones go to the second level. And so I can compare between those 2, because I know Jake said on his podcast before that sometimes you don't want to go to the top ranges of the incomes. For whatever reason, some of them might not be as responsive, or maybe they aren't like there all the time or whatever. So he said sometimes like that middle stepping ground. And with Palmetto Bay, the incomes are so high, like average income overall is like over 150,000 for the households. Even my lowest range on the second card is still like above 85 for the household income. So there's still a lot of high income earners in both areas. So I'm going to do that so I can kind of split test the response for the different advertisers. It's also just for me, using LinkTrack, being able to show other 9x12ers how you can kind of show those 2 things to advertisers or for yourself, and so you can know that split difference. And so that's my next step, is just going through the rest of the ads, finishing that. One thing I'm adding into LinkTrack, I've had a lot of good conversations with some of the early users and adding some functionality. So I'm making the QR codes a little bit more customizable. Instead of just like the squares, you can have like stars or circles or diamonds, and you can like change the color of the foreground and the background of it. I recommend not doing that too much, because I've noticed in some of the smaller ones that it's harder for the phone to pick up the pattern. But the dots and the diamonds are usually pretty good. Stars are kind of hit or miss. And the backgrounds, you want them to like still be pretty bold and differentiated. But those kind of functionalities have been building into it. The last other thing that I've added in was the ability to pick your, like the short code address itself. So go.linktrack/r/blank. So you can customize that. I liked that feature from the previous tool that I was using, because I can know at a glance when I'm creating, like when I'm like testing the codes, I can see in the address bar, okay, that is going for that advertiser for this version of the card. And I could just like kind of hover my phone over each of them and see what it is. So I'm working through that, testing that out to make sure that all works. And then I'm going to finalize the ad designs. All the ad designs are finalized, just got to put in the QR codes where they go, and then finish the 2 versions of the card and then send them off to print. So hopefully by tomorrow I'll be able to get them sent off to print. And then with Jake's turnaround, it's usually, last time it was like within like 2 days. They like printed one day and then like I got them the following day almost. So I hopefully can get the cards in either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday or Monday, because I don't want to leave my wife like last time They got delivered on a Wednesday. They surprised me and got delivered on a Wednesday, and I was working in the office. And she's like, "Hey, UPS is here with these like 20 giant boxes that are like super heavy. I'm here with our like 6-month-old. Actually, no, she was about 9 months old at the time, and my 4-year-old. And luckily, the UPS guy was very nice and just like brought the boxes into the house and put them there himself, since she had her hands obviously full. So I'm also trying to plan it out so that they get delivered on a day that I'm actually there, so I can help with that part of the process. So that's where I'm at. I just got to first finalize this last design for this pawn shop guy and finalize this payment process and get it done. Everything else is all set and ready to go. Now, on other news, while I was away on vacation, I did something that, might be interesting, might be something good for people in the online world to consider. Since I run a business, I have previous banking history and stuff through my family's other businesses, I get a lot of credit card offers all the time for business credit card accounts, and usually they go in the trash most of the time because they're not always that great. Maybe it's like, $300 bonus for signing up on a new checking account or whatever. But Chase Inc. card sent a really good offer at just the right timing. They sent the offer: if you spend $6,000 over the next 3 months or whatever, you get $750 back. So it's perfect timing, because fulfilling the 9x12 for like 10,000 cards is about, I want to say it's like around $4,000 or $4,200, something like that. It might be a little bit more. I have to go back and see Jake's pricing again, but it's somewhere around that range. And then I already have like my usual business expenses of like my cell phone and my HOA, like some of those other business expenses that I have. And so that would just get me about to like that 6,000 range. But I have the BNI group that I was working on being a part of, and so their total fee for the year comes out to about $1,450, something like that. It's like $1,200 for the year, and then $300 for the application or something. And normally it would be steep, and they do have like a self-financing option through PayPal, or you just pay like $200 a month or whatever. But since I got this card, and that'll like get me to the limit to that $750 cash back or rebate or whatever it is, then that's basically like getting my BNI membership for half off, or getting like 40% off the printing, whatever I want to kind of frame it in my mind. I'm getting $750 back for doing the 9x12 I was already going to do anyways. And then the BNI, one of the advertisers on my card that took a double spot was from that BNI group. So I definitely see there's value in the BNI ecosphere for me to be doing this. Since I'm going to be doing this quarterly, going out, pursuing this, scaling it up, BNI is going to be a great part of that. Our next BNI meeting is going to be tomorrow from 7:30 to 9. So pretty much every week I'll be having touch points with all these guys and be able to pitch them on all the other things that I do, and just kind of be in the realm as a print advertiser and being able to help them out, go into other BNI groups. And so I think it's definitely a good option for building this business and being able to kind of subsidize it with that free $750 back. And there's like 0% interest for like, I think 6 months anyways on anything purchased in that time range. So I'll really be able to like kind of self-finance it anyways if I needed to. But since I have all the money coming in from the 9x12, actually already just paid off from the income made from the 9x12 anyways. So that's something just to keep an eye out. If you're nearing the end of your 9x12, filling it all, go to Chase and see what kind of credit card offers they might have. If you have a business account, you already have like your business set up and established. Like my business has been up and running for about 1.5 years now. And so So I have enough history where they're able to offer that. Sometimes they might have smaller offers if you haven't been in business as long, if you don't have as much credit history, that kind of thing. All that kind of stuff goes into it. But if you do, you can go in there and you can usually kind of see what their current offers are. And that might be a great way to give yourself an extra bit of money back on fulfilling your 9x12 that you're going to do anyways. So that's something, just a quick little tip on the back end to kind of consider a way to make some extra money off of this 9x12 thing anyways. So I got that card delivered last Friday, so I was out of town anyways. So I told the BNI people, like, hey, I'm out of town. I get my business card back at the house when I get back, and I'll do the payment then. So I got it just in time, so I was able to pay that. So now I'm officially a member. They have so much stuff in the BNI community. They have so many different courses and different information. There's so many groups here in Miami for me to join. So I'll be having to spend a lot of time kind of going into that and digging further into what all there is to offer through that. But I'm very excited to like kind of take that on and start exploring all that there is there. And so I'm happy with my decision to get into there, especially given that I could use some of this money back from Chase to help pay for it. So that about catches us up on what's been going on and what my plan is for the future for the rest of this card, for the rest of this week. So the next steps are finish off my ad design, get all those links in there and send it off to print, get it back in. And then I get to do the next step of the process using my facing slip software, Rapid Slips, where I just upload my document to Rapid Slips and I get all the exact forms needed for all the facing slips that I can just put on those stacks and get them all set up and ready to go out the door, and then deliver them to the post office over in Palmetto Bay. But first I realized that I will need totes for that. So one of these days on my lunch break, I'm gonna have to go to a post office and see if I can get more of those big totes to be able to sort everything into. So that's another next step that I have to do this week in order to have them around. So if I'm able to get them printed and delivered by Friday or Monday, I need to have those totes already ready to go, so that way I can start loading them up in the car and take them with me next week, probably on my lunch breaks from work, since I work kind of near Palmetto Bay. It's only like a 10-minute drive from my office to get there. I can drop all the cards off on my lunch break and then do that for the rest of the day. So that is my plan. That is my news. That's my update. So thanks for sticking around through this video. I see that I've now hit over 100 subscribers. So thank you so much to all the subscribers that have been coming in and finding me. I hope you're getting a lot of value out of this content. I want to be as clear and honest and open and transparent on everything that goes into this process, as I know there's a lot of people out there that are discovering the 9x12 method. There's a lot of people coming by the 9x12 system, whatever you want to call it, that are finding it as a great option to kind of get your feet wet in entrepreneurship if it's your first time and you're going out there and you're struggling and you happen to find videos along the way. I just want to give you the honest behind the scenes truth about what goes into it. And it's not going to be necessarily easy. It's not going to be fast. Honestly, my first card took me over 6 months to fulfill. This one only took me about 6 weeks, but a lot of that is also from prior relationships, from people from the first card, and from people that just knew me from like high school, getting a double spot on there. In my family's business, instead of just having a single spot last time, I had to bring them up to a double, which they can afford because business is going well for them anyways. So they always help subsidize me on any of my projects where it benefits them as well. So if you're doing it yourself and you're wanting to give it a try, just don't give up too soon. At least give it a couple months. Don't just give it a couple weeks and say this isn't working for me. If you want to do something, it's worth dedicating some time and energy into figuring out, because lessons you learn in this business will help you out in any other venture that you want to go into. For me, I've been doing digital marketing and online marketing forever. It feels like since I was in high school, and now I'm like I'm 40 years old now. And so I've been doing it for a long time, but everything you do along the way, every lesson you learn gets you ready for the next step and builds and builds. So if you're working through this 9x12 thing and you're seeing value in it, just approach businesses with honesty and with transparency and let them know, hey, I discovered this new method to get local businesses some great reach into the community. It's something I'll be putting my own money online. I'm going to have my own ad spaces in there myself, promoting my services. I'm just a local business owner myself, and I'm just wanting to do things that are good for the community and just have a conversation with them about what would work for them. And they might not be interested in doing the shared postcard advertising at all. But if you approach the conversation, instead of just like pitching them a shared ad space on the card, instead approach the relationship with a curiosity and a humbleness of like wanting to just help them in their business, especially if you're able to offer other things. You can just have a conversation with them about local marketing, what they're doing, what they're seeing is working right now for them, and how this can supplement it. And if they say, oh, actually, I'm really good on that, but I do need some new flyers or business cards or brochures, do you do that kind of stuff? Just be open to that conversation. Running my ads on Facebook's gotten me a bunch of leads saying they want to do targeted direct mail. Other people in other areas that aren't in the demographic that I'm currently targeting want to do advertising. So just open the conversations openly and with honesty and with transparency, and wanting to just help them in their marketing efforts, instead of just being like a hard pitch for SEO and social media management or AI or anything else. Just kind of have a conversation with them. And the business owners that you want to work with will just kind of rise to the top, and you'll get to know them immediately. All the advertisers on this card I really like. I liked all the ones on my first card. They just weren't as much of a great fit for this service, but I feel like this one that I'm doing now, I'm building some really great long-term relationships. So the relationships that you can make, if you're not just even hard pitching 9x12 ads, you can, because you have a unique offering, you're able to get that conversation started with them. And you can see where that relationship can continue to develop if you give it enough time and you're dedicated to making this into a business. So I appreciate you following along on this journey, getting me up to over 100 subscribers. As I continue my journey on this channel, aside from this one, since this video series is about selling out my 9x12 in a month, and I failed at that. It took me, I guess, now about 6 weeks to finally complete all the spots being sold. I'm going to be moving along and talking about growing this into a more of a subscription model, a quarterly distribution model, and do different areas. So I'll be sharing what my process is that goes into all that. So you can continue to follow along for that kind of insight. If you want a shortcut to any of those things, I highly recommend booking a call with Scott Meisner. I think his website's like Meisner Marketing, something like that. If you're in the 9x12 ecosphere at all, you probably know his name. If you're on Facebook in any of the Facebook groups, either Jake's group or the Offline Sharks group, you'll usually see him posting his like 10,000 cards that he distributes every quarter to the 10 different areas he serves up in Pennsylvania. And so I had a great consultation call with him about 2 weeks ago, going through kind of the benefits of going after that model. But he also kind of meets you where you are and talks about what struggles you might be having in the process. So he's definitely a wealth of information, a great guy to have a chat with. So you can find him on Facebook or just search Meisner Marketing Pennsylvania, if anything, and contact him from there. If you want a shortcut to any of this information, just tap into all that he knows in doing this for over 10 years, doing these quarterly mailings. He does even bigger cards. His are like 11 by 14. going out to 100,000 areas, homes and businesses in the area up there. And he's also a Rapid Slips user. So that's how we got connected. I had him use it for his massive mailing that he did, and said it saved him so much time. And so I got to have a great conversation with him about how I can scale up my business. And so I'll be sharing any of the tips that I learned from the process, either by learning from him or learning from my own failures or learning from my own thoughts and anything else that I'm studying. And so, and continue to follow along for that. But thank you so much for liking and subscribing the videos along the way. Leave a comment for this one about your favorite takeaway, anything that you learned from this one that was of value to you. And I will catch you in the next video, and I will see you then. Take care.